Welcome back, guys. It is round 3 of the Renault RS01. We're here at Dubai Autodrome for a 22 lap battle. Bruno and Charles, they currently lead this championship, both tied on 65 points. Morris, partner to Bruno, he's currently third with 51. And Ronaldo and Dupi, they currently both in 4th place, tied on 42. Let's see how this race pans out. So just before we get started, unfortunately Dirkie, he's not able to join Charles this evening for this race. Craig from the Fad Muckers, he too is unfortunately out, and Simon from Tosca 3, he unfortunately is unable to make it. So starting us off in row number 6, we have Ross. He's in 12th place for the Fad Muckers, driving in car number 2, and he's alongside 11th place Colin from Decor in car number 19. We move to row number 5. In 10th place is Louis from Tosca 2 in car 17, and he's alongside Ash from the Cape Town Boys in car number 38 in 9th place. We move to row number 4, and the TTR, they dominate this row with Jacques in 8th in 43 and Dupi in 7th in car number 42. We move up to row number 3, and our Lone Ranger Ronaldo, he's in 6th place. He's in car number 9, and he's alongside Jakes from the Ninja Racing in 5th place, driving car number 10, unfortunately getting a 1-place penalty. Row number 2, and in 4th place we have the Green Mamba Dylan. He's in car number 39, and he's alongside Morris for Silverback Racing in car number 6. And in row number 1, it is the Battle of the Titans. Bruno in car number 7, racing for Silverback Racing. He's alongside Charles from Tosca 1 in car 14. Charles is once again in pole position. So as we wait for the green lights, off they go. Bruno in 2nd place. He's had a great start coming off the line. It looked like Ronaldo going around the outside of Dylan. Side by side, Charles and Bruno as they head into turn number 1. Charles moves to the outside to cut back inside. Ronaldo's moved up past Dylan going into turn 1. Very brave to be on the inside there. Jakes, he's moved up into 3rd place. It looked like Morris here dropped down to 4th. There's Ronaldo, sorry, he's in 5th place ahead of Dylan. Dylan down into 6th. Jump on board with Dylan as the pack exits out of turn number 7. Very close to Ronaldo as he went into turn number 8. Here through this very quick section in turn number 9, Dylan finds a gap. He will move around Ronaldo. So we chase with Ronaldo as we see Dylan moving ever so ahead of him as they head into that very sharp turn number 10. Well, there's Jacques coming around the outside. Jacques has been able to make that move stick. Well, there's a little tag there by Ash. That's unfortunately sent him off the track. We'll see as he joins. Well, unfortunately he comes straight back onto the track and goes into Ross. Very unfortunate incident there for Ross. So back to our race leaders as they approach turn number 13. Charles looked like he was going to have a look around the outside. Then hard on the brakes here into this extremely tight hairpin in turn number 14. Out of turn number 15 and into this quick turn number 16. As Bruno crosses the line to begin lap number 2, we take a look at the positions. So Bruno leads with Charles in 2nd. Jakes is up to 3rd, having started 5th. Morris, he's down to 4th. Dylan is in 5th place. Jacques is 6th. Ronaldo is 7th. Louis, he's moving himself up the field. Oh, he's just dropped a position back to 8th. Dup is in 9th. Collins in 10th. Ash is 11th. And Ross in 12th place, having taken an early pit stop. So in shot the battle for 3rd and 4th. So Morris is starting to apply some pressure here on Jakes. Morris racing for the Silverback Racing, teammate to Bruno. Down this very long back straight, will he be close enough for a look here on Jakes? No, he's not. So through to turn number 10. Much tighter line there for Morris, having come through turn number 12. So approaching turn number 16. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th and then 6th. So Jakes is still leading this charge with Morris in 4th place. Right behind him, Dylan starting to get on the back of Morris. Through turn number 1 into turn number 2. Morris taking a much wider line here. A little bit of a sideways drift there by Dylan as he approached turn number 4. Morris has a look on the inside, coming through turn number 7. It looks like he'll have the run around Jakes, going around the outside here into turn number 6. Yes, he does. Great move there by Morris. Jakes is tucking in behind to try and get a slipstream down this extremely long straight here at Dubai as they head into turn number 10. But Morris has made that move stick. On board with Dylan going through turn number 11. You see in the distance there, that was Bruno and Scholl starting to create a bit of a lead there. Dylan attacking up a right nicely behind the Jakes. Coming through turn number 13. Then into this very tricky hairpin section in turn 14. Into 15. So in shot, that's Dupi starting to put some pressure on Colin as they approach turn number 16. Dupi is tacking up right behind him. Will chase this action as they come down into turn number 1. Will Dupi have a look on the inside? No, he doesn't. So Colin has avoided that attack for now. So we chase our race leader Bruno as he heads down this very long straight, preparing to come into turn number 10, and that is Scholl right up behind him. Great shot of the two drivers coming into turn number 10. Around 11. Then into 12. You can see Scholl 0.2 seconds behind Bruno. And he has been there for the last 4 laps. Just has not been able to find a way around Bruno. Bruno taking a much tighter line into 14. Will Scholl be able to get the drive here as the exit out of 15. So Dylan is starting to make some way here on Jakes as they're preparing to go into turn number 13. Much better look in there for Jakes coming through this time round as they go into turn number 16. Well, Jakes has got it sideways, the rears has come out. That's allowed Dylan to go past, as Jacques gone past. So Jakes in 4th place is now, unfortunately, he's dropped down into 6th. So lap number 5. Bruno still leads with Scholl in 2nd. Morris is 3rd with Dylan 4th. Jacques is in 5th place with Jakes dropping down to 6th. Ronaldo is in 7th. Colin 8th. Dupi, he's in 9th place with Ash in 10th. Louis in 11th and Ross in 12th. Well, very close there by Scholl. Having a look on the inside of Bruno coming into turn number 10. Around 11. Will there be an opportunity for him here coming into turn number 12? Well, a little bit of a lag there, so didn't quite see how close he actually had got there. But we'll chase this action going through 13 and see if there's an opportunity coming into 14. So Scholl has not been able to find a way around Bruno coming through turn number 15. And Bruno will retain his lead coming through turn number 16. Coming into turn number 14, that's Marius. Well, Marius getting that power on, putting himself straight into the wall. There he tried to come back onto the track. There's Dylan. Oh, he's gone straight back into the wall. Obviously thought he would be able to hold that line. So that's Marius, unfortunately down to 9th place. After being 3rd, he decides to go straight into the pits. So we are currently watching the battle here for 9th place. This is Dupi putting some pressure here on Colin. Colin currently in 8th. Coming around turn number 9. Dupi will tuck in behind into his slipstream and see if we can't make an overtake coming into turn 10. Dupi unfortunately not being able to close that gap just yet. But Colin seems a little bit slow coming out of 10 in 11. Dupi's moved himself to the inside, but this will put him for the outside into 12. Will he try the undercut or will he keep going around the outside? So Dupi's gone around the outside of Colin, put himself in on the inside for 13. Colin sees him there and concedes that position. Great maneuver there by Dupi. So 5th place Jakes, once again coming through turn number 16. Is really battling with this car. That's him putting it around. There we've seen Ronaldo go past. There's Dupi and Colin go past. So Jakes here unfortunately has now dropped down to 8th place. As I've said before, he's really battling to come to grips with this car this evening. So in shot, that is Jacques for the TTR. TTR currently lying 3rd overall in this championship. And Jacques sitting in 4th place. His teammate Dupi is battling in the midfield. Here we see him coming through the back end here of the circuit. Well, going into turn number 15, that's Jacques putting it straight into the wall. See him just getting out of the way there, allowing Ronaldo to go past. Dupi goes past, Colin goes past, Jakes goes past. It seems like I gave Jacques some commentator's curse there. Jacques is now unfortunately down in 8th, being very comfortable in 4th place. Very unfortunate for Jacques there. Here we see Ash for the Cape Town boys. His teammate Hamid is racing in a lobby at number 2. Ash has been very quiet in this race, other than a little bit of contact with Ross in turn and number 9 on lap 1. So the race stewards will definitely be looking at that and for rejoining the track unsafely. So we're on a lap at number 7, and here's the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. That is Colin in car number 19, Ronaldo in 9 and Jakes in car number 10. Exiting out of the turn at number 15, preparing to go into turn 16. We'll just keep in this action right here to see exactly how this is going to pan out. Down the start, finish straight. great shot of those drivers with all their lights on. Ronaldo, our Lone Ranger, he's currently sitting 4th overall in this championship. But Jakes has been unfortunately plagued with disconnections. So exiting out of turn number 16 and across the line to begin lap number 9. In shot is Charles. We see he's dropped a little bit further back from Bruno. Seems to be just losing a little bit of time here. But Bruno leads with Charles in 2nd. Dylan is in 3rd with Duppy 4th. Colin is in 5th with Ronaldo in 6th. Jacques in 7th. Ash is 8th. With Jakes all the way down in 9th place. Ross, he's 10th with Morris 11th and Louis in 12th position. So Jakes peels off to go into the pits. We'll just keep up the timings just to see if he loses any positions. And we hear a car come in the background, and that is Ross. See Ross just going past the back of the shot there. So Ross, he will move himself ahead of Jakes. That's an extremely quick pit, so it doesn't look like Jakes had made any tyre changes there. So Jakes will exit the pits. And he will come out ahead of Marius. You see Marius in the background there. So Jakes will retain his position ahead of Marius here on lap number 9. So 5th place driver Colin has really been in the thick of it today. We see he's starting to get some pressure from Ronaldo, who's currently in 6th place. Colin driving for Daycol Racing. Currently they're sitting 8th overall in the championship. His partner Dane, unfortunately not able to race this evening. He would have been in a lobby in number 2. So we see this is Charles. He's currently in pits, having come into the pits. It seems he must be taking some tyres because he's been in there for quite a while. We'll have to see whether that was the correct strategy. That's Duppy. He's now leaving the pit road. Just want to bring up the timings because I'm just cautious of Ross. We see that he's moved himself ahead of Ash. Ash is currently in the pits. There's a Ross there. Oh, Duppy's braking, allowing Ross to go around the outside. That was for a position. I'm not quite sure whether Duppy had made the right decision. I think he was well clear. He could have attacked that corner and probably put Ross behind him to put Ross under some pressure. Now Duppy, he will have to do the chasing here for the second half of this race. In shot, 7th place Charles, he's chasing Jacques, who's currently in 6th. Down the back straight into turn number 10. Well, Jacques running himself a little bit wide, making a very easy overtake there for Charles in the end. So Charles, he now moves himself up into 6th position. So while Bruno prepares to go into turn number 10, we can take a look at the positions. Bruno still leads with Dylan up to 2nd, still not pitted yet. Colin, he's 3rd with Charles up to 4th. That was Ronaldo, he was in 7th, but it looks like he might have gone into the pits with Ross and Duppy now moving ahead of him. Ronaldo is now 7th with Jacques 8th, Morris down in 9th place. Ash, he's 10 with Jakes in 11. And unfortunately we lost Louis through a disconnection. Charles currently in 4th place, coming into turn number 13. Here into 14, or Colin's gone a little bit wide. Well, a little contact between Charles and Colin. But Charles, he now moves himself up ahead of Colin. So Charles, he's in 3rd place with Colin down in 4th. As they prepare to cross the line. Very short a run coming out of turn number 16 to the start finish to begin a lap number 13. So approaching turn number 1, that's Ross for the Fad Muckers. Right behind him is Duppy from the TTR. Ross currently in 4th place with Duppy in 5th. The Fat Muckers are currently 6th in this championship with 35 points. And TTR, as mentioned before, they are currently 3rd with 57. So if you remember back to the pit stops, out of sight, Ross actually puts it on the first lap, and he's managed to get himself ahead of Duppy, with Duppy slowing down, allowing him to go through into turn 1. But there's still 7 laps to go. Let's see how this pans out. So here we have Dylan on the lap number 17. See, he's gone into turn 1 ahead of Bruno. So Dylan now leads this race with Bruno 2nd. Charles is 3rd with Ross 4th. Duppy is 5th. Marius is 6th. Ronaldo, he's in 7th place with Colin in 8th. Ash is 9th with Jacques in 10th. And Jake's in 11th position. We jump on board with Bruno coming through turn number 9. Currently in 2nd place, Dylan, he hasn't pitted yet. Down the long back straight, preparing to go into turn number 10. But closing that gap on Dylan very quickly. In the hairpin turn here at number 12. Through the little kink at turn 13, then into the very tricky hairpin in turn number 14. Well, Dylan going a little bit wide there, wasn't able to hit that inside apex coming out of 14. Through 15 they go. We'll see if Bruno can get a run on Dylan coming down the start finish line. Dylan running a little bit wide there. He'll get a 1 second penalty for that. Then hard on the brakes into turn 1. Dylan is wide once again. Struggling through turn 2. Here through 3. Bruno getting very close behind Dylan as they coming through turn number 8. We chase Dylan as they head down this back straight. We'll have a quick look back to see where Bruno is. You can see Bruno tucked up right behind Dylan. Light shows are going with the brakes of Dylan. You can see his rears still lit up. Definitely do not have that brake balance correctly set. So Bruno, he moves himself back into 1st place. Dylan is in 2nd with Charles, he's in 3rd place. So here we chase Charles, he's currently in 3rd place as he comes around turn number 16. There in the background there he can see Dylan and Bruno cross the line to begin lap number 18. Through turn number 10, in shot Charles, starting to go. Dylan's got it a little bit wrong there, coming out of turn number 10. He's allowed Charles to go through without any resistance, realizing that he's not racing either Bruno or Charles, but more Duppy and Ross. So Charles up into his 6th place. He's closed the gap down on Bruno to just under 5 seconds. With 3 laps to go, do you think he will be able to get that position from Bruno and actually take the win here? Here we jump to Dylan, having taken his pit stop. But we'll see, he goes and he overshoots his pit stop, having to go back. So wasting some valuable time here in the pits. We'll just bring up the timing. So we can see the gap between Ross and Dylan is 20 seconds. Down to 15 seconds, 14 seconds. 10 seconds. We'll quickly jump to Ross. We see him and Duppy. They cross the line to begin lap number 20. We see the brake lights of Dylan. Ross flashing, but Dylan not fast enough to hold that line. So Ross, he will go around the outside of Dylan. Ross moves himself into third place. Dylan is fourth with Duppy in fifth. We're on a lap number 20 plus 2 more laps to go. Very tidy by all 3 drivers. Coming through turn number 7. Here through turn number 9. Ross seems to be a little bit wide there. We pan with Ross just to have a look at the battle behind him. Well, Ross is a little bit wide. Dylan takes a look on the inside, but Dylan is not close enough to put any challenge there on Ross. That's a jump on the roof of Duppy. Coming through turn number 16. Sorry, that was turn number 15. Now approaching turn number 16. Oh, Dylan's got a little bit wide coming out of 16. That allows Duppy to get a run up behind and actually take a tow from Dylan. Looking into turn number 1. Well, Ross is on the brakes really early. That's allowed Dylan to sneak on the inside. Duppy might have an opportunity here going into 3. No, but he didn't get his line right. That's pushed him a little bit wide. Now through turn number 4. Hard through 5 and 6. Dylan starting to pull a gap away from Ross. Here through 8. Well, Ross has hit the curb. He's gone straight into the wall. Here we're just having a view from the inside of Ross's car. You can see he kicks that curb. The car changes direction. Ross tries to catch it, but unfortunately it just flings the other way and puts him straight into the wall. Extremely hard impact there. So race leader Bruno. There was Charles in the background. Charles, having taken the option to put tires, seems to have been the wrong option. Bruno just went in for a liter and off he went through turn number 13. Round turn number 14. This corner catching out some of the drivers today. Round 15, we see some of the back markers are just getting out of the way there. Bruno will come through turn number 16 for the last time. Little flash of appreciation. Bruno will cross the line in first place. Charles will finish second, 1 second behind him. Dylan will come home in third with Duppy fourth. Ross will finish a disappointing fifth with Ronaldo in sixth. Morris will come home in seventh with Colin in eighth. Ash in ninth place with Jakes, a very disappointing 10th place for him. Well, that seems like he's actually dropped down to 11th. Jacques, he will get 10th place, and Jakes will finish in 11th. So now that round number 3 is complete, we're able to take a look at the driver standings. Bruno from Silverback, he tops of the table with 130 points. Charles Tosca too, he's in second with 116. Dylan from Green Mumbers and Duppy from TTR, they are tied third with 77 points. Marius from Silverback, he unfortunately slips down slightly, finds himself 5th with 66 points. Ronaldo, he too slips down slightly with 60 points in 6th. Ross from the Fad Muckers, he's got 58 points in 7. The Durkies did not start, unfortunately that will cost him in 8th place. Lurie from Tosco 2, his disconnect also cost him. He finds himself 9th with 46 points. And Colin from Dakel Racing wraps up our top 10, and Colin is in 10th with 38 points. So now we take a look at the team standings. Silverback Racing, they maintain their first place with Tosco 1 in 2nd. TTR, they remain 3rd. The Green Mumbers, they move up a position ahead of Lone Ranger. The Fad Muckers, they hold fast in 6th place. Tosco 2, they too stay in a 7th position. Dakel Racing remain in 8th. It is Turbos and Bullets moving up 4 places, with Ninja Racing Team down 1. Chasing Beavers, the highest climbers for this race, moving up 5 places, with a Galaxy Racing, Team Synergy, Tosco Racing all moving down 1. Then the Cape Town boys hold their 15th place, with ZA, Team Wasted and DNA still to score. So guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that video. If you did, give the video a like, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you'll be notified when any of our live streams are up or we have a new replay video added. Our next race is on the 8th of November. We will be at Bruno. So to find out more about that race, you can check out all the details on our website. Follow us on Facebook, as well as join in the conversations through our Discord app. All those details are in the description below. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for watching, yos.